There's no way I won't swim in love. Ooh. Honestly, one of the best Disney songs. I don't care what you say. That one, Meg song, I Can't Say I'm in Love, in the top. In the top. And they got the sassy muses. The muses, though? Yes. But hey guys, we're doing another exciting episode of Patron Uncut, behind the same take look on everyday life. Now today I want to talk about a topic that I have no plan for. I just wanted to talk about it, and usually I have like a rough idea and I kind of plan ahead on like things I want to talk about, certain subjects that I want to niche in there and just shove into a topic, but this one I'm going completely off the cuff, just because I just thought of it. But I want to talk about something that is very complicated, very, very complicated, and it's a hot mess for everyone. But love. I love love. I am obsessed with love. I've always been obsessed with love since I was a kid. And there's so many different types of love. It's not just so black and white. Like, a lot of people just think it's like, you know, the basic intimate love where you're just like you see that one person, you just want them in your life, you're just like, yes, you and nobody else. And you want to love them and cherish them forever. You put them as a top priority in your life. You want to fight for them. You want to do anything for them. And you just want to do anything to keep them in your life. Like that intimate kind of love. But love has so many different layers, and love is so complicated from what I originally thought. Like when I was a kid, that's what I thought love was. I thought it was just, you know, going after that one person, having that one person in your life, always fighting for that one person, and just being afraid so much to lose them. And I still feel that sometimes. Like, yeah, like that's a real feeling. Those are real. But there's so many different layers of love other than that. And a lot of people don't really focus on the other types of love because they're focusing on the one thing. And with me in love, I have been a mess. Because I've always been a hopeless romantic. I've always been one that's like, you know, chase and pursue. And when I was little, I didn't really know what love was, so I was like, I struggled with understanding that, actually understanding who I was, because like, you know, I was like going back and forth with my sexuality, whether I was, whether I wasn't, even though like I knew, like I like dudes. I love me some men's. Them men's are delicious though. And I just had a higher, stronger preference for men than women, because I just wanted to be with a man. I knew I did. I think the first person I was in love with was probably my best friend in kindergarten. Like, I was completely, like, I didn't realize it was love. I did not, because I didn't explain. I knew what love was. A lot of people, like, look towards, you know, their parents or other figures that they see to really, like, define what love is. And I really didn't have that, because my father wasn't around when I was a child, so I didn't really see him and my mother interact. I just didn't. I would have, like, no memories of them interacting. Other than bad ones. And then, with my grandparents, that's about it. And all I did was bicker back and forth, and they were the cutest couple ever. I love them to death. But with myself, all I had to go off of is Disney movies. I love me some Disney movies. Snow White's just hopelessly waiting for her prince to come. And sometimes, same. Alright, so like, off topic. Coming. Too long, I can't do it. Look, I'm sorry. I don't know how some people can go hours on hours just getting the booty pounded, just like, I can't do it. I want a break. I want to get a massage. I want to get some snacks, but constantly? No, I can't do it. No. You gotta stitch it back up. I just can't. Anyway, back on topic. But yeah, so I would always just like, you know, see that hopeless romance where you see that person, you want them, and that's the person for you. Like that whole concept of soulmates and love at first sight, and just wanting that person and everyone else disappears. And that is kind of how I love. It's rare. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't love often. I don't have that feeling of love. I maybe experienced 3 times in my life. But that's how I really had to go off on like what love is. And when I was little, my best friend at the time, when I was like 5, like I adored. I wanted to do everything with him. I wanted to just like constantly be with him. I used to get so upset and jealous, like if I wasn't like the only one in his life, or like he was hanging out with other people, or like I couldn't see him. Like I would get so embarrassingly upset. Like I used to just like adore this kid, and it did get harder when I was like getting older because you know like I was gay and he was not, and I knew that my feelings were different, but like I didn't really understand why. But I really, 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 really would do anything for this guy, and I was obsessed. I was obsessed. I'm the first person to admit like when I actually feel that amount of this like in depth, in love, in lust, like that's personal for me, just you and no one else, boo boo. I get obsessed. I do get obsessed. Like that is like that. I'm that person's biggest fan. I'm their number one fan. I would jump off a building for them. I would kill for them. That's how I was. And that's kind of really like I kind of looking back now, I understand like you know what love is, what I actually wanted, what I actually could have went for. But I spent my entire childhood trying to figure out like what love is for another person, and I never really experienced that myself. Because I would always get like, you know, crushes on girls. I didn't want them. I mean, there were girls that I do find, I mean, obviously I find them attractive, and also intellectually stimulating. I would have liked to be romantically involved with. The only thing that would stop me would sexually, because I don't get sexual satisfaction from women, or just the thought of women. I don't. It's just like, everything's fine to a point, and then as soon as it gets like, down below, and it's like, you know what? Nah. So like, have I experienced like love for women? Yes. Yeah, I have. Like, maybe not to that extent where it could be anything like more serious than just a really strong friendship. But just like I have like I would say like I've been in love with my best friend, who is my best friend of 13 years. She's the most amazing person I ever met in my life. Like she is who I put on like high tier. Like if I feel anything close to what I feel for her and you're a guy, then I'm just like, panties off. It's happening. It's happening now. Just like, yeah, that's just like my gold standard. But like when I actually had like real relationships, I actually got to something serious, I was at a point where I really understood more about love. Like with my first boyfriend, Kevin, we got together when I was 21. And that was after I was like thirsting around, trying to find people. I'm just like, you know what? I love you. I love you. Like I would honestly throw out, because when you don't really have that high school experience of like, you know, growing up and having options and actually dating and being able to date and like seeing the people around you, because that's a problem in the gay community, is that we a lot romantically mature late, because we don't really have those feelings or have that means of expression, because sometimes we're the only gay people around, there's no other options there's no one to actually experiment and be romantically involved with, which was my thing. Like I didn't really get to explore myself sexually or my sexuality until like late on, until like my 20s. So a lot of like my ideology of like what affection is or like what love is, I didn't really get to explore really until like my 20s, where like I was just like, if I like somebody, I like them for the wrong reasons. Normally I just like people because they were gay. Because they were gay, and I was just like, they're gay, I'm gay, I can like them. And just because like, I found like maybe a little bit attractive physically. But looking back on them, I was like, it wasn't love. It wasn't even it was not even lust. It was loneliness, which is a big thing as well too. And it's that fear of being alone, and then just wanting to have somebody that want and desire to like be with anybody, and it could be anybody, so you don't really have a actual preference, you don't really know what you like, so you just like anybody. That was how I was in college, and it was a mess. Until I met my first boyfriend, Kevin, who right now is like one of my like best friends, like 6 years. He was my first real love. At first I didn't want to like him because it was long distance. I told him that. I was like, you should probably not do this. But then he's just like, it can work. 2 years later, it didn't work out. But my feelings for him was that he was one of the most important people in my life. He is the most important people I want to do anything for. I love talking to him. I love being around him. I burped. He's just somebody that I completely adored, and we did have a normal, for the most part, relationship. I mean, it can only be so normal long distance, but I had that feeling of deep affection for him, and I didn't feel that way again, and I never thought I'd feel that way again until I met my second boyfriend, who just completely blew me out of the water. Because I originally, when I met him, I thought, we're not really it's not gonna be anything serious. When we first started talking, and then we talked for about 2 months, and I actually met him, and something clicked, and just it was that instant feeling of just that want and desire, and that they are going to be important to me. I already felt that, and I couldn't really explain why, and it was just the most intense feelings I've ever had, and throughout the entire relationship, I just kept knowing, I was this is the person I want. I don't want anybody else. This is who I want to be with. This, I see kids with them. I see a future with them. After the months we spent dating, I'm just this is the guy. This is it. I haven't really felt those intense feelings ever since, and I have dated before, and it's just that emotion. And the thing with that love compared to how I felt about Kevin, both people I adored completely, it's that it was different. And that's the thing with love is always different. Love is never the same. You can never love the same way twice. You never love the same person twice. You never experience that same feeling for somebody else ever again, because experiences are different, people are different, your relationship's different, and a lot of people hold that standard of how they felt in their last relationship to move on to the next one, and how they're actually gonna see the next person or invite that next person in their life, or just who they actually want to be with. They'll just compare that feeling of love to what they experienced before into their next relationship, but you can't really do that because it's going to be different. And that's a problem I had for a while too. I would just compare, and not just that person to the person I previously loved, but just the feelings I got. I would compare those feelings to that experience, but it's completely unique. Every love you meet is completely unique, and like I said before, there's a lot of different layers. How I felt with Kevin, that was my first love. That's completely different for who I fell in love with next, and the friends I'm in love with. I love my friends. I have layers. I love people. I love people. I really care about even random strangers that I meet who are just generally nice people. I love them to the extent where I want to do nice things for them. I will hold the door open for them. I put their thoughts before my own. I'm always an ear to listen to, because I feel everyone has a unique experience that they really can express, and a lot of people having someone to talk to, or just feeling involved in somebody's life, and I'm able to be that person. I love meeting new people, so I love going on dates just so I can actually have an experience and meet a person, not necessarily for anything romantic, but actually just to interact with another person. To me, that's just a layer, that's a base standard of love, and that's just a love for people and a love for humanity. Then we have my friends, my actual friends, who the feelings are much more intense. And yeah, that is a feeling of love, to just want them to be happy, want to actually help in their happiness, want to be able to do things for them. And they do have a high standard in your life compared to just normal people. And a lot of people don't necessarily understand this, but that feeling of love, it's like a family. It's more like a strong platonic love, where you just are building your own family. You just build up these people in your life that mean something to you, that you really do care about. I mean, yeah, you have different level of friends, obviously, so it's different levels of just how you actually care about and have those intimate feelings for them. But my thing is, with me, as soon as I'm friends with somebody who I feel is just a strong-willed, caring, nice person who is awesome, I always keep that level of love. Like, it never goes away. Like, as soon as I hang out with them, even if it's been years, it feels like we just picked up where we just left off. We don't have to talk every day, but like, I still have that deep affection for them. I constantly always think of any of my old friends, from like years, from college, from like high school. Like, I still think about them to this day. And like, if I ever like met up with them again, or saw them again, or talked to them, a lot of them I do still talk to. But if someone I don't talk to anymore just comes back in, who I had that deep feelings for, they're still at the same level. It doesn't go away from me. Like, I've always like felt that. And my best friends, I love them to death. And yeah, like, they're like my family. And also my family, a lot of people feel like, you know, you're forced to like love your parents, you're forced to love your siblings, and you should love them because they're family, but that's not how love works. You can't be forced to love somebody. You can't be forced to want to have that deep affection for somebody. You can't be forced to just actually want to care about somebody. You have to kind of want it for your own self. And it's something that is built, and something built through trust, and something you want. So with family, I love my family because they are my friends, not the opposite or way around. Like, they are people I can talk to. They're people who are fucking ridiculous, but I love them to death anyway, and I would do anything for them because we're close friends. We can talk about anything, we can do anything for the other person, like, we actually show that we care. Like, those are the people that I want to keep in my life because they are my close friends. And a lot of people try to force that feeling that, you know, like, you have to love your siblings and your family, just because it's what they're taught, and that affects how they view their mentality on life and how they actually view love. Like, they feel like, hey, they're in a bad relationship, but, you know, they have to stick it out because they are their family, so they have to like keep addressing that person or trying to be involved with that person. That's a lot with my with my father. Like, I don't love my father. I feel bad for saying that still, but we just never really had a close relationship like that, or an intimate relationship, or like we're not friends. And there's a lot of things in my childhood where, like, you know, I was like pushed and forced to just accept him for who he is and deal with his bullshit and just like keep pacifying that situation or any situation that he's involved with, even if it wasn't a good situation at all or mistreated like everyone else in my family. I was like taught to accept and pass and, you know, just be passive towards it because he's my father. And that's not right. Because you can't force someone to feel feelings, you can't force somebody to love. So I never really had that feeling of love because it's not how it was. And that's how I really like stood out my family too, because I never wanted to just accept things for what they are. I accept people for who they are, but that doesn't mean they have a specific place in my life. Or like I have to force feelings to be with them. Like, it just doesn't work for me. And then of course we have like actual like intimate love. There's people who I loved like while I was like dating. Like my last person I was like really like feeling serious for, we were friends for about like 6 months before like we actually like, you know, started like making steps for something else. And then like within like a year, I didn't love them. I had like strong feelings for them. I cared a lot about them. I wanted them to be happy, like more than anything in the world. Like I really wanted that happiness to just be in their life. Even if like we weren't together, or like even if like we did get together, no matter what, like I actually wanted that person to be happy because they are a genuinely good person. And I love them, but I wasn't in love with them, which is like a big difference. Because that feeling of love is that you want to make the other person happy. You really want to just do anything you can to make that person happy, and you want to keep them in your life, and they are just someone who's like really important to you. Whereas being in love with that person, they are the top priority in your life. Like they are the person that you want to wake up next to, go to sleep with, just to keep constantly thinking about, you keep dreaming about. Like that's that person And not necessarily like in an obsessive way, not like, you know, you're obsessing over fucking One Direction and it's like, oh, Zayn, I just want to wake up with your booty cheeks in my face. No, it's just that you have that person as your top priority and you just really care about them more than anybody else. Like, that's the person you always prefer. Like, you prefer to be that with that person rather than anybody else. You prefer to go out with that person, whereas like other people, it's just like, you know, they're more on a different level where it's like you can go out with them, or you can be with them, or you can just like, you know, have them in your life. But that person that you're in love with is just like that one person that's your rock. That's who you want. That's who you want to be with, and that's the thing you want to fight for. Like the last relationship, like real relationship I had, my second ex-boyfriend, we like I was in love with for like the longest time. Like I was completely in love with but he is somebody who doesn't allow himself to love. I tell him all this all the time. He self-sabotages. He doesn't know what love is. Just because he had bad experience with boyfriends and like he had bad experiences with trust. He also has a interesting relationship with his family, with his sexuality. So he doesn't allow himself to actually have that feeling of love. He doesn't allow himself to love or to be loved, which is sad. It really is, and I do have that feelings for him. I did have those feelings for him where it was like I was deeply in love with him, and he would never like accept those feelings. Like he would say that it was either like infatuation or it was just lust, or just because he couldn't actually believe that somebody actually loved the person he is, because he's a fucking ass. But a great person, just in general. Even though he is an asshole. He really is. And that's the thing too with infatuation, and I probably should have started with this, but infatuation, lust, and just alright. So infatuation is basically when you have this idea of being in love with somebody. Like you see somebody and you think about how it would be like to be with them, or you keep getting these concepts in your head of what it would be like to be with them, or to actually like have this relationship with, and you just build up all these ideas, you build up this relationship like in your mind, and you set it on that person. Like that's the standard you set it to. And at that point, like if you guys get together, like that's the person that you want. That's the person that you like. You think that you basically reinvented this person in your head. And then when you see them, you see that person. You see that person that you envision, that life you envision, like all that without actually interacting with that person. So you will build like a fake feelings basically for that person without actually getting to know them and actually like really going forth with who they are and if that's comparable with yourself. Like infatuation, a lot of people confuse with love all the time because they just hype it up. They see this person, they meet their dream guy, their dream daddy, and they chase after them, and then they eventually are disappointed because they realize that person they built in their head is not the same as the person that they actually are. So then they're just like, holy shit, what the fuck I did? It's been 3 years. Why am I just realizing this now? Because as soon as those rose-colored glasses are on, you don't see shit. Love makes you stupid. Especially infatuation. Like if you're infatuated with somebody, you just see them for them, you see that idea, and you're just like, you know what, that's what I want, that's the only thing going on in my head. And then as soon as those rose-colored glasses come off, and you actually see them for who they are, you're like, what the fuck? Where am I? And it's different for everybody. It's completely different for everybody. Everyone's different with all of this, and I'm just telling you like my experiences personally. And let's talk about like projection too. Like projection is like when you already have this ideology of like the perfect person in your head, and it's more like generic rather than infatuation. Like you're really just like you want someone who's like this and this and this, like someone who's funny, someone who's smart, someone who's like well educated, somebody who's just like makes me feel a certain way, like someone who gives me the bubbles, someone who gives me that great boom boom. You have these standards already set, and when you meet somebody who like anybody like who comes like remotely close to what you kind of wanted, you just set that list of standards and you put it on that person. And you're just like, you're the perfect person for me. Are they the perfect person for you? No, but in your head you're saying, you know what? They can have these traits, or you try to like build them up where they're just like where they have the traits that you want in your head, and then you just only focus on those. Like, it's like you're trying to make yourself like that person, and then you sometimes fall for it. And that's actually what my ex accused me of doing. Like, he accused me of projection, and I'm just like, bitch, I know you're an asshole. Like, no, boo. It was actual real feelings. And a lot of people do this. Like, they have a high standard of like what they want. They list it out, and they just put the high standards onto another person. But they have to realize that love comes from experience. Love comes from that person, and you can't really have a list. You can't have really things set on what you already want. Like, you can have, like, you know, preferences. Like, you know, you would rather have someone who's like taller, someone who's just like, you know, someone who's taller, someone who's a baller, someone who, like, you know, prefer something over the other thing. But you have to, real love is, it's flexible. It depends on that person, and you can't really just have a high standard set, or even a standard set, really, because it's different. It changes all the time. Like, what I loved back then, not really necessarily what I love right now. Like, right now, it takes me a while to actually establish any real feelings of intimacy, because I'm already a people person. I already love people. So, like, I like going on dates, I like meeting up with people, but to actually, like, feel that real intimate connection where it's like, you know, my heart opens up, I open up to them, my walls come down, sometimes my walls are broken, but, just that deep feeling of affection, I don't feel until after I really get to know that person. And I really get to, like, be with that person and really get to, like, understand who they are and understand me, and just, I work much better with friendships, and then seeing where that goes after that. But I don't really, having that feeling of, like, deep affection and love, that takes time. That takes time, and it takes a lot of effort for me. It does. Like, the 2 times I was really in love with, like, my significant others, it took months. It took months, and it was really with them pursuing me. And then, like, they pursued me, and they really just let me know that it was okay to actually love them. It was okay to actually, like, have feelings for them. And then that, you know, emerged, like, you know, actual love and feelings, and they became the top priority in my life, and it's like I chased after them. And that's because that's how I get when I get in love. When I'm in love, like, they are my top priority, and I'm obsessed with them. Like, they're my #1 fan. And I have a tendency of, like, romanticizing everything once I'm in that state. Like, even, like, the smallest, like, they can do the smallest basic thing. Just like, oh, hey, I came over, I brought you some McNuggets. I'm just like, that's the most beautiful thing a man has ever done for me. Rip off my clothes, I'm just like, where do you want me? Like, yeah, that's how I get, like, just, like, the most, like, basic shit a person could do for a person. As soon as, like, I'm, like, in love with them, I'm just like, it's the most amazing thing in the world to me. Like, chicken nuggets, or fucking, saving me the last scoop of ice cream, or just, like, everything's food related. I'm fat. But just, like, small gestures, like, that really just, like, that person just letting me know that they were thinking of me, just in the smallest ways possible, the most subtle ways possible. I'm just like, take me, daddy, take me anywhere, have me, I'm yours. But it's rare that I get to that level. And that's the thing with love. It's constantly different. I feel like I had something else to say, but I drew a blank halfway through that sentence too. But you can't force it. You can't force love, and you can't take your feelings of love and completely blind you from everything. Like, if a person's not wrong, because it's possible to fall in love with, like, the wrong person, just because you committed so. It's a lot to do with, like, the commitment involved. Like, you commit so much to this one person, or this one relationship, and you think that, you know, you have to do this to make them happy, or you have to do this. If you feel like you have to do something for them, like, it's not just, like, you want to do it, or you feel like you should do it, or you feel like, you know, it would be nice to do this thing for this person, or to stay with this person, or it would be nice to, like, really, want to be with this person, and just, like, want to take them somewhere, or, like, want to do something for them. If it becomes like a I have to kind of feeling, then, and it's more I have to's than it's actually, like, you know, I want to, you have to get out, because that's not the right love, because that's how it leads to feeling of mistreatment, or feelings of being, like, very submissive in your relationship and afraid to leave your relationship, or just like afraid of getting your heart broken and afraid to actually have real experiences, or afraid to find real love. Because here's the thing, you're always going to get heartbroken. Always. It's constant. Like, you always will, even in like small ways, by the person you love. Or by people that you really thought you would have like a serious relationship with, or people you really thought you'd have kids with in the future with. Like, you will always get your heart broken. It's something that it's bound to happen. Even in a relationship. And it could be like something small, but like it's something that like slowly just, it's something that just slowly tears away at your heart, just a little bit, just because you wanted one thing and it just didn't work out. And when you have that kind of feelings for a person, like when you feel like you have to do something rather than you want to, and it becomes more of you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to for this person, then it's not really the right relationship for you. It's not really the right kind of love for you. It's not really like, I feel like the relationship has run its course. Because when you want to do it, like, I do things for somebody because I want to. I do things for people because I want to. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like my last relationship. That's the only example I can really give. My last relationship. He didn't understand, like, why I, like, would do things for him or treat him a certain way, or just, like, actually care about him and see him as somebody who's, like, really beautiful, or see someone who's just, like, funny or fantastic or all these other things. Like, he didn't see that. Even though he treated me great. It was a great relationship. But I did things for him because I wanted to, not because I felt like I had to, not because it was something that I felt was right, but because it was, I wanted to. Like, I would do things because I wanted. Like, I gave him a whole folder of my nudes, like videos, links, pictures, all of it. And it was like, here you go, boo. And it was just like, just because I wanted to. And it's something that I know he liked because he's a pervert, and it made him happy. And it's something that I knew I could easily do for him. That's how I am. Like, if I don't want to do it, I won't do it. And if that person loves and accepts me, they can understand and accept the fact that I don't want to do it. And they actually, establish that they do have real feelings for me because they're taking my feelings into consideration, which is a big thing for me. Like, for me, when I do feel like I'm in love, like, I do want to have that feeling of being wanted and being desired, and also that feeling of just feeling like I mean something to that person. Just feeling like I have that strong, intimate connection where that person would fight for me as much as I would fight for them. Yep. Oh my god, I'm dying. So yeah, that's how I feel about love. That's basically it. I love love. I love seeing other people in love. I love seeing other people happy. I love, that's why, I'm a photographer. So, one of my favorite things to do, engagement shots. I love engagement shots just because I get to meet different people. I get to see different experiences. I get to hear different love stories. I love love stories. I love the whole concept of just, being with somebody and sticking with that person and just, really, fighting for that person. And, like I said before, love is different and love is always changing, so a lot of people feel like if a relationship ends or someone they really love leaves their life, or they have to split up, they feel like their relationship failed, or the love failed, or the love's just not there anymore. But that's not true, because the love is probably still there depending on how the relationship was, but it changed into a different way. It just changed completely. Like me with my first boyfriend Kevin, I still love him. I love him, but not into such a strong romantic and sexual way as before. It's now involved in something that's completely platonic. And I do care about him. I do want him to be happy constantly. But it's just not the same as when we were first dating, at all. Same thing with my ex too. We are in a place where it's I do love him. I'm not in love with him anymore, but I do love him. I do care about him. I do want to see him happy. I can usually just talk to him about bullshit. And it's somebody that I still want involved in my life, but it's just we don't have that strong intimate feelings that we did before when we were first dating. It involved in something different. And the same thing with relationships that after a long marriage or a long relationship, and just people get divorced, people separate, the love just changes a lot, and it's not a failure really. Relationships aren't failures either. That's bullshit. see it as like a story that's come to an end. Like a lot of people are, which makes no goddamn sense. People put their life into fucking chapters when I'm just like, it's not how life works. Different experiences, they're not chapters because that's not how books work. Go to school, you'll learn it. Read a book, then you'll learn. I don't know why that frustrates me so much, but when people put their life into chapters, I'm just like, that's not how books work. Anyway, because each experience in your life is its own book. You're a part of a series of books. You're not just a chapter, you're part of a series. And that one relationship that failed, that you feel failed, or that ended, it's its own story. The love story comes to an end. Because things end. Just constantly. Like, things always, like, change your life. Things always, like, end. And sometimes those love stories just come to an end. And you appreciate the good. You learn from the bad. Important thing. But you're able to close the book, put it on a shelf, and open a new one. That's what I've done. That's why I keep doing. Because there's always a different love story. And some people do have that long love story that goes like for years, and they work through all their problems and troubles, and they end up together, and they still have kids and be together until the very end, until like one of them dies, and then they can actually close the book and look back on all the years they've been together and say like, you know what, this was an intense love story. It was amazing. And some people's love stories are shorter. But a lot of people want to completely forget or just ignore that feeling of love that they had for that person, and they don't take it with them. But it's important to actually just learn from your experiences of love so you're able to move on. So you don't make the mistake of trying to compare those feelings that you had before into your next relationship, because that leads to like infatuation or projection, like because you're like you have a standard like what love is, and then you try to match that and it just doesn't work. Like you have those feelings before with like that's just you try to feel the exact same way with a new person with the old as you did with the old person, but it's completely different. It's a completely different person. It's a completely different experience. Like you're just never going to replicate that. So you have to be able to take that love with you, learn from it, put it on a shelf, and then just go on to your next one to have a brand new experience, a brand new love story, something that's completely brand new, because that's how it is. It's a new book. It's not part of a chapter. It's not part of it's part of a series. A series of events in your life that you're going to keep carrying with you until you die. And I think it's beautiful. I really do. Like even like my parents' relationship. Like they're separated. They're divorced, and I'm just like good. But it is a love story. It is from the beginning. It just the problem with that relationship was the book was open for too long when it should have been cut shorter because of that feeling of you have to do this for this person. You have to do this to show affection. You have to do this to show love. You have to stay with them to show that you care about them, when that wasn't the case. The book should have been closed a long time, but they left the pages open. They left the book open, and that was a whole hot mess. And you just have to learn sometimes learn when to actually close the book, when to actually end the relationship, when you can actually say, you know what, the love has evolved, the feelings have changed, we have to move on. And love has a lot of complexities. Love is different. Love it has a lot of experiences. Love has a lot of heartache. Love has a lot of pain. Love has a lot of beauty. I love everything about it. Like, I even love the pain. Like, I love the tragedy of it. I love the heartbreak. I love all the experiences because it's something that you take with you, you grow, and you don't ever forget. You never really forget love, and it's something that you really can hold on to it forever. Like, those intense feelings that you had, those experiences you had, it's something like I always wanted. Like, I always wanted to have that feeling of just like that intense love for me. By like one specific like significant person in my life, and that was a problem too that I learned because I did have like a standard of not how I loved but how I wanted to be loved, which stopped me from like a lot of relationships or like why I didn't like feel things for certain people, because I had that standard of just like this is how I want to be loved. And even if they were like nice people who were like do the world for me, if I didn't really like have that I gotta stop doing that. If I would have the standards of like how I wanted to be loved. But again, it also comes down to chemistry too. Like if I'm not like feeling with that person, like that, it's just chemistry. Like, girl, it's either gonna work and not gonna work. Anyway, that's how I feel about love. I can talk about love all day because that's like the most important thing to me. Well, not the most important thing to me, but one of the most interesting things that everybody feels. Everybody feels love in different kind of ways. You feel love for your parents. You feel love for your friends. You feel love for people in the street, people who do nice things for you. You just feel love for everybody, and you just have to like accept the love into your life. Don't try just to push it away because it's not what you want or it's not the feelings you want. Because like, yeah, a lot of people like will go out seeking their missing love because they have this feeling of wanting to be with this one specific person, or this feeling of like wanting to have like a significant other. Like they like see all their friends getting married and they want that kind of love. But you have to accept the love around you too. Like you have to accept your family. That's people who love you too. Like, girl, I'm alone right now. Like I got nobody in my life, but I have my friends. I love my friends, and I feel that love for them. I love my family, and I feel that love from them. Like I have so much love in my life. Sometimes I feel like I don't really like need a significant other just because I have so much love around me, and I've accepted that. I opened myself to it. And it makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel great, and it just makes me feel so happy. I have so much happiness. Because once you like tie this feeling of like seeking love into your loneliness, you just become more lonely. You just become more just isolated. Like you just ignore the love around you, and then you just feel like you have to have somebody with you. You have to like love somebody, and that leads to infatuation and projection, where you're just like, you just meet somebody who's like nice to you, and you're like, you know, that's it. I love them now. When you just have to accept the love around you. Accept the love from your friends, accept the love from your family, accept the love from nice people, and just enjoy it. Enjoy that feeling, and you just won't feel lonely anymore. That's something I've done. It's one of the things that helped me with my depression, because like my depression like comes to a lot from loneliness, and it's just feeling lonely. And I haven't felt lonely since I've been in my apartment. I feel great. But yeah, that's not all I gotta say about love. I literally can keep going, but that's all I'm going to say about love. So, guys, I just want you guys to take care of yourselves, and just enjoy the experiences of love. The heartache, the pain, the beauty, having somebody. If you feel like things are hopeless for you, they're not. You're gonna find love. It's inevitable for everybody. You just have to keep pulling through. You have to keep just enjoying life, and then love finds you. And when you go out seeking for love, when seeking a relationship, then you already have this standard in your head of like what you want that person to be, or who you want that person to be. When it's not going to work that way. That's why when you just let love find you, you go out there and you don't really have a plan. You go on dates and you don't really have anything like established, like a standard of like what you want. You really get to open up more, and you really get to like actually feel more, and you don't feel that pressure of like having to hit a certain standard of like who that person has to be in love with them, or what you want that person to love you for. You just kind of enjoy life, and then that's really how you form the best relationships. That's how you form the best love stories, by just not having such a set standard already. Just go for what you want. Just go by, personal preference, just like what you like, what you don't like. But don't have this standard already set on like who you want your person to be, or how you want that person to project onto you. Because then it's not love at that point. It's just a hot mess. Yeah. So anyway, guys, leave a comment down below. If you're watching this on my video podcast, yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to hear me talk about. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know about your love stories. Just let me know. It's okay that it ended, and it's okay that it's still going. Everything's okay about it, because you know what? There are chapters in your life. There are books in your life. Books, not chapters. They're like long books that you just have to embrace. And also, thank you guys so much. I keep saying thank you so much for my Patreon, and I have not updated it because I honestly keep forgetting I have a Patreon. So I never promote it. I never do anything about it. So I'm just like, fuck me. So I owe people a lot of content. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna go because I'm not wearing pants and I just want to kind of lay down and relax and enjoy my life. I'll see you guys later. Stay awesome.